Hey guys, Sled 67 here. We're going to be talking about things you should be doing to make sure you maximize your readiness for Witch Queen. And, I see a lot of prep videos about materials and things, and yeah, having cores, having, golf balls, descendant shards, having all that is great. You need those things. But more importantly, there are weapons that you can unlock from these last three seasons by doing some of the seasonal activity that's still in the game. And I think that if you are not doing it, you're missing out. I mean, there's guys in our clan that we were talking to yesterday while we were doing the raid that still have not completed the stuff from Warhammer or Splicer. And what's really a shame is there's some really good weapons and some great ways to get some dual perk roll weapons out of some of these things. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. So we're going to talk about the three seasons that are accessible, the three season, the materials and the weapons from the three seasons you can get right now. And most of these are available through the helm. So it would be season of the worthy, season of the splicer, and then of course this season of the lost, which is the current season we're doing right now. We're going to talk about things that you should have. And also, we're going to include in this farmable weapons from Europa because there's people that haven't completed the sabotage campaign. And as a result, you're not going to get a lot of pinnacle and good things that are available through Europa. So, one of the easiest pinnacle things you can get is basically the challenge here. I forget what we call this. The Exo Challenge. This can be free, pretty much free pinnacle gear, and I'll show you this activity to show you how easy this is. There's three that cycle out. The first one is mainly just jumping puzzles, and you have a boss to kill at the end. It's not very hard at all. This is pretty much the same thing, except this doesn't even have a boss to kill at the end. The only one that's even semi-difficult, and I say semi, is the third one, where you actually have a lot of stuff to kill within a limited time, and you have to prevent stuff from coming up on platforms. And I'm probably going to cover these inside of maybe another video, but this is free stuff that's available to you. Being able to do the Empire hunts. Okay, these right here, these master Empire hunts for pinnacle gear. This drops high stat pinnacle armor every time, and they're not hard. When we get guys that need high stat armor, we'll carry them through this stuff, and it brings out some good armor. But the only way you can get that is if you actually go and finish. And by the way, you can't, unless you can unlock that, you can't get Cloud Strike, which is a dynamite exotic sniper. So let's go look at the things you need to do to get some of these things. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because it just became, I became aware over the last week or so that we've got people within our clan that haven't finished this stuff and they complain they're bored. Well, go finish your fragments. Unlock your fragments for stasis because they really give stasis the power to do some amazing things. And that is the way things are going. I mean, Void is getting that rework, and we have Void 2.0 will be the exact same way. So, need to do it. All the light class is going to be that way soon. So, this is called the Sabotage campaign, and it's part tied to the campaign on Beyond Light. You should have all these unlocked. This gets you pinnacle gear every week. It gets you a lot of doubles your rewards on a lot of things. But specifically, if you want Cloud Strike, you need to have Europa 1, rewards 1, 2, and 3 unlocked in order to get rewards. There's also here things here that allow you to get um, here it is right here. European Gear 3. Unlocked high stat crusting armor drops from the first Empire hunt of each week. So this is going to get you high stat armor. We ran somebody through this last week who needed it, and he didn't have this done. All of us got high stat armor but him. This gets you the weekly Pinnacle Award, European Explorer 3 for the Exo Challenge. So you need to have 1, 2, and 3 done. So, by the way, you don't have to do these, they don't unlock across, they unlock vertically. So basically, when you get this one done, this one becomes available. When you get this one done, this one becomes available. So you don't have to do all of tier one and then all of tier two. You can choose to do just the ones vertically that you want to do. So I would definitely look at, when you're looking at these things, go look at what they say, what they have, and I would definitely come down and do this first row. I would definitely do the third row, the fourth, and the fifth row for sure. And then you have this right here, this last one that gets you the high stat armor. So I mean, I would do all of them. They're not hard. They just have little things tied to them, little chores you got to go do. They're not hard at all. It is a little time consuming, but it's going to unlock a lot of loot. Now, somebody asked me about these little dudes that fly around, where you come to an area where you see a guy with a thing over his head in the you'll have like a yellow bar, major. They'll be floating around with a bunch of people, but you can't damage them or kill them. Uh, and he's got a little thing floating over the top of his head, a little gray thing. That is basically what that is that is tied to the Braid Trek transponder. This is a set of tasks that where you go and you basically are going to there's a bunch of these little robots that fly around. You've seen them in different areas. These little things that fly around, and they don't really have. They're just they don't really bother anything. They're just flying around different areas, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So you want to pick this up. It lasts all week. Okay, it's 50 Haraway pieces, and well, I'll show you what that does. So this is where you can farm for some of the things you want. Like you can farm for all the Europa weapons here. Like I'm trying to farm for a new pulse rifle. So if you just pick this up, 30 airway pieces, you can pretty much go look at your quest now, and it will be random what you have to do. So I have to kill one boss in a Empire hunt and get pulse rifle kills inside of doing an Empire hunt. So all I have to do is equip a pulse rifle and go run some Empire hunts. And then I can go back and collect this weapon from him. And they're random rolls, so this is what you're going to do to, try and get a good pulse rifle. This is a 390 archetype pulse rifle like Bygones. It's in the kinetic slot, and it is actually a good pulse rifle with the right rolls. So something to farm for. So we're gonna that's one thing I would do first for you Beyond Light players is get that unlocked. Okay, and I'm specifically this is kind of geared towards new
Perhaps
players
I
that
can
have not,
point you in the right
they don't know what to
direction.
do. They get into the game, they're not sure what they need to do. Also, the dark into darkness campaigns, those are to unlock fragments on for your stasis on Europa. You need to do all of those until you have all your fragments unlocked. Okay, finish the campaign, do those, and get those done. All right. Secondly, we're going to go over to the helm
Do
and we're
you
going to
do
talk about the
knife tricks,
season activities
Untitled?
that you need to unlock. And this is nothing difficult. This is just stuff that in the natural course of the game you would have done if you were playing the campaign in the game. A lot of people come in and just do PvP, and that's fine if that's what you want to do, but you're not going to get access to a lot of really good weapons and things. The idea is to play the PvE to get the weapons to use in PvP. Once tied to there, if you're just getting in the game to play PvP, you're not really gonna, you're not gonna really get access to some of the other really good weapons there are in the game. So yeah, there's some good trial weapons. Gambit has a set of weapons that are unique to itself. Vanguard has its own set of weapons. The campaign has its own set of weapons. There's open drops in the world, and then of course you have stuff tied to Crucible and Trials. So we're going to talk about the three things in here. The first we're going to talk about is the War Table. This is tied to the Season of the Worthy. Now, just like the one I showed you, there is another one of these things called Hammer Enhancements. You have to do the campaign, and you have the same type of thing again. You don't have to do it across. You can do it vertically. Once you unlock something on the first tier, the second tier becomes available, and the third tier. and I would definitely go through these. There's lots of videos online. I'm not going to go into the details on this. Just do them all. They're not hard. This does not take long. It's just that you can naturally do these through the course of the season. Just gear some of your activities around them, and you'll get them done. Um, Go ahead and pick that up here so it's done. By the way, also something to pay attention to. Inside of these three things are mods. Once you unlock these, they unlock mods like your Elemental Light and Wisdom, Font of Wisdom. These rotate out every day, and there's new mods available here. If you're wondering how to do these builds, that's where these mods come from. So if you don't do this work up here, you're not going to get access to this stuff, and that's really the good stuff. The other thing too is that said, this activity is geared around this one right here in the map. And if you're not seeing this, it's because you haven't unlocked it yet. So if you go into Vanguard and you see this over here, Battlegrounds, this Battleground playlist will get you some powerful stuff every week. But on top of that, it's just I think it's one of the funner activities. This is evolved around charging your hammer or getting hammer charges. So you're going to do these activities, and you're going to get this hammer as you get it as you start and use the campaign, and your hammer gets upgraded, and you'll be able to take more charges. But you will use ruins that you use to get things, and then you can add additional things. Like for instance, this can give me more gold. When I open the second chest, this gives me more glimmer, and this gives me the ability to get an additional hammer charge. Okay, so once this is armed and I go run battlegrounds, this will allow me to open a second chest at the end of the battleground. That's why this is important. I save those hammer charges up, and then I can come over to this area right here, and we all have seen this, okay? But there are three things available in here. So this is the current season, this is Season of the Splicer, and this is Season of the Chosen, and they all have a way to focus engrams for weapons or different things. Now, I only have two hammer charges, so I don't have enough to get to focus anything in tier 2 or tier 3. I haven't been doing any of these activities. I've finished them in their season. But if you're trying to focus for different things like the submachine gun or sidearm from this, you can, some of you who want to get a threaded needle, you can get those things from activities from these seasons. And here you go right here. Linear fusion rifle or a chosen rocket launcher. Same thing up here. You can focus for this gives you the sniper or the bow. Uh, but you can focus for these engrams and get them. Now you can randomly focus for things like this, like weapons. And there's a sniper and there's a sidearm. Okay? So I picked a couple things. You can see that's not a bad roll. I got a surplus frenzy. Armor piercing, nice. Full bore. Look at the range on that. See, that is nice little sidearm right there. Handling, good masterwork, not bad. I would have preferred something like range or maybe reload speed on this particular one. But this is a 325 two burst. Not it is not bad. The other one we just picked up was a sniper. Let's see what this is. Okay, so I've already got better rolls on this, but this is a 90 round per minute sniper that you can get from here. You can look at You got full bore, appended mag, 5 in the magazine, lead from gold, thresh. Definitely have better rolls on this, but not a bad sniper. Far Future is a good sniper rifle. So this is one of those things that you can roll for these weapons. Now I'm going to go ahead and trash that. I may hold on to this one. I think that's a good roll. So the other seasons are right here. So Season of the Splicer and of course our active season are right here. A lot of people will just come up to the table right here and of course just, unlock what you have and, randomly get whatever you want to get. This is great if you don't have anything to focus for. Like me, I've got most everything I want from these, including armor, so I don't really have anything to focus for. I just get these and then grind them. So To me, this is just, at my stage in the game, these are just materials. So we're going to free those up, get rid of them. All right. So, but this is one of the only, threaded needle is one of the only fusion rifles to run with Vorpal. And so if you get a chance to get this, by all means, it's definitely worth it. All right. So we're going to talk about where you focus, where the other, so we just showed you the war table. All right. Season of the Splicer down on the left. And this is the one where we have the little fallen babies, you know. These guys right here, the little cuties. See them? Can barely see them up here. Those little fallen babies in there. I don't know what's going on with my brightness. Holy smokes. Let's see if we can adjust our brightness a little bit here. Yeah, it's not making any difference. But you can see the little eyeballs there. Those are little fallen. Okay. Anyway, that has nothing to do with anything. So the season of the splicer, same thing. You need to pay attention to these little guys right here. Again, these are done vertically. You need to get all this done. This is going to allow you to do more things inside of the splicer events. It allows you to unlock double perk weapons. Just, you guys are missing out on a lot of the good content of the game if you aren't doing these. These are easy bounties to do along the way. I always pick up the cheap ones. I really don't worry about those. They're 3,000 glimmer if you want to spend the glimmer, but no need to. Now in the current season, this is the one for the current season over here, which is Wayfinder, and you should have all these done. This is the only way you're going. If you don't unlock this stuff, you're not going to be able to get the trace rifle for this season, the stasis trace rifle, which is just freaking awesome, um, or any of the other stuff that revolves around the season. Again, you need to unlock all these things. These things are going to enable you to do more inside the forest. So as you go through here, one of the things you're going to notice is as you do these, you're going to be freeing Techyon. So you can see here that these are all the ones we've saved through the season. And also involving talking to Sabathun, who, if you haven't done the season stuff for this season, you don't realize that this person back here is Sabathun, who is at the center of Witch Queen. So her current story is unraveling in this season. So anyway, this is gear you guys should be doing and getting. You're missing out by doing it. By not doing it, you're missing out on a whole ton of content and weapons and things you could be getting right now. So I would, since we have this extra long season and this content is still in the game to get these weapons, like people, Chroma Rush, excellent weapon. Okay, you see this being used in a lot of things. The Chroma Rush, see this dual perk I was talking about? This is something you get. You cannot get this unless you run these harder activities, that dual perk. You have to unlock it, and then you have to go in and do these right here. These the corrupted expunges, and there's chests at the end of these that will allow you to, you can see here you've got a regular one, okay? And then you have a corrupted one. The corrupted one is going to give you a chest at the end that you can open that will drop dual perk weapons like I just showed you. They do not drop from any other place in the game for that. It's one of the only places you can get dual perks. You can also get dual perk weapons by focusing engrams up here for this season. So if you go into this season and let's say you want to get a better hand cannon, the stasis hand cannon Bepilka. I can't say that. This is expensive, but this actually gives you an additional perk in one or both of the final columns. So this is how you can unlock things like I don't even know if I have one on me or not. I can go look. I might have. I do have I do have one on me, but this is a single. So normal single perk weapons are going to look like this. But if you'd like to unlock one that has a second perk, let me move over one from my warlock. You're going to notice that this one, well, I say that, and this is not it. So I have another one somewhere in my inventory that has a dual perk. And what it has is a choice between this and explosive in the same weapon. So really nice to have. Go ahead and drop that back now that I saw that. But I had that it's the only way you can get those weapons, those dual perk weapons. And those are nice because depending on what you want to do, if you end up switching to a stasis subclass, maybe you want to switch out to maybe you want to switch it out to stasis for to headstone instead of explosive so you can get the shatter damage. Maybe that's something you want to do. And so and that's going to of course get you shatter damage. It gets you abilities back. So those are things to think about. It also will let you roll for it'll let you roll for ignition code, which is the only primary grenade launcher right now that you can get. Uh, you can get this with double perk rolls. I have one somewhere in my inventory. I'd have to go dig it out, but I have one that has a choice between this and like you have a choice between high velocity and implosion rounds. You might have a choice between Vorpal and Thresh. So you can get energy back, or all in one, or some of the other things that fell from this. I like this one because lead from gold means I don't have to run finders. I can run heavy finders, and every time I pick up heavy, I get special. And I love that. So that's one thing less I got to do. I love that I got Vorpal on this, so I got more damage against boss and vehicles. Uh, I will usually switch this out, between what I'm running for, but I usually will run this with major spec for champions. Or if I'm in a regular strike, I will put it with boss spec to use against vehicles. Does great damage against flying vehicles. So that is just some things that you can be using out of this season that you should take some time and do. And if you haven't done it, then we got a couple more months in which you can unlock this stuff. Cloud Strike, excellent sniper. It's like Thunderlord with it. It's like having Thunderlord on a sniper. Just absolutely crazy. I've seen people in PvP wipe an entire team off of a zone, off of a single headshot. And let me tell you, it's just crazy when you see that. So excellent sniper. A lot of fun to play with. So if you haven't done this stuff, you need to go in and take a look at it. And I think we looked at Season of the Splicer, we looked at Season of the Lost. All three seasons can be focused right here, but each one is going to give you different things. Each one running the activities for these things inside of your destination. So running the expunges is what gets you running these right here. The corrupted expunges are what's going to give you loot for that. For the splicer, running the battlegrounds is what's going to give you loot for the hammer. And then, of course, our seasonal activity, which we're doing right now, is the one that is over here in the Dreaming City, and that's running the astral alignment. Is going to be the one that gets you what you need to basically build up materials to be able to go in and get and focus and use in today's season. So, haven't done it, do it. it's worth it. Okay, guys? I just want to talk about this because I just see so many people complain they don't have anything to do, yet they haven't done any of the seasonal stuff to unlock 80% of what's in the game. Take some time and play the game. It isn't just about PvP or Gambit or other things. Yes, there's weapons you can get around that, but there's a lot of great weapons you can focus on. You can also, something I'm going to show you, which I didn't talk about, is you have the ability on each season to focus armor. So if you guys are looking to, there's a couple of ways to focus armor. If you guys want high stat armor, okay, you want armor that looks like this, where I got, this is not as good as I would like it to be, but you've got stuff like this. If you want armor that looks like this, then you got to focus around it, okay? And the only way you do that is there's a few ways you do that within the game. One is going to be pinnacle activities, okay? That's a great way to get good drops, but it's totally random. But if you want to focus on things, then go in here. When you unlock these, you will have these. You can focus on mobility, you can focus on recovery, resilience, discipline, intellect, strength, whatever you want to focus on. I think, based on my experience, I think the ones down here are better. So again, the armor here from Season of the Splicer seems to focus out higher. And what I mean is that when I say high stat, I want you to realize that these armors pieces like this right here, when they start, okay, when you start adding energy to it, it adds 10. And then when you masterwork it, it adds another 12. So if you take 22 off this piece, plus this, okay, so this is 85. That means this piece started at 63, okay, without any help. All right, I obviously have Radiant Light, which there are some mods that will add to your abilities and make your armor over 100, like that right there. You can see that armor piece is now 105. Powerful Friends do the same thing, give you huge mobility boost. So let's say, for instance, I don't need to run Disrupting Blade right now. So if I want to add Powerful Friends, I can get an instant jump and turn this piece into a 104. And now I have 34 in mobility. Now my mobility is up to 67 on this character. Okay, this is how you get high stat stuff. These are only available to Arc. These are Arc mods. So you have to understand your armor builds and what perks you can get from them. Some things give you super, like for instance, hands-on will give you super for melee kills. So if you're running a build where you can get a lot of melee, like this has throwing knives, and that counts towards super as you get it, then that's a good thing to run, and that's a seasonal mod. Another one is Ashes to Assets that runs on solar. That means all your solar kills convert to super energy. So there are mods that will help you enforce your build. So if you got a build like most of my builds, I will center around, I want as close to 100 as I can on um, discipline. I love grenade builds. And then I will run perks that give me extra stuff. Like for instance, if I'm running salvo, I'll enable demolitionist, which gives me energy back for my grenade off of kills. So I definitely, and then throwing my grenade reloads my weapon. So yeah, these are things that synergize with each other, and you need to be aware that mods, armor, all synergize with each other, and you need to look at how you're doing your builds to make excellent builds. They affect your survivability in the game, they affect your damage in the game, they affect your ability to play the game effectively and really be a contributing member to a fire team. So just things I wanted to bring up and talk about today because I see too many people inside of our current meta right now that are, you want to go after adept weapons, things like that. That I'm going to tell you that the grandmasters are fun, and it's an achievement to do a grandmaster. I've done 4 of them so far. I have not gone after and done a boatload of these, and I've got people in our clan that do that, and that's what they love to do. I'm working on trying to get weapons that I like. For instance, I've finally got a Fatebringer, and I got a fantastic roll I absolutely love with this explosive frenzy. I mean, both damage. You get two damage perks in the same weapon. Yeah, not something you see very often. In fact, I was just looking at this and I realized that I probably should be running flared magwell on this to improve my loadout there. But you need to understand how these things work. So things like Vex, these two weapons obviously come from the current VOG, and I honestly I didn't do any of it until just recently. And I'm actually shooting myself in the foot because I should have been doing it a while ago. If I had been, I would have been able to enjoy these weapons sooner, but I didn't, I just didn't have the time. Now I realize a lot of you are up against the same time constraints. Look for LFGs, looking for groups. These are people that are looking for people, a fourth, fifth player to go do the raids because they know how to do them, but they just don't have enough players to do them. There are lots of ways to get things done in the game. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention. Take your time to go and do these activities so you can really enjoy the full benefit of the game. Okay? Anyway, Sludge 67 saying, have a great week. It is Thursday, I think, today. And man, I can't believe the week has flown by. You guys have an excellent week. We'll see you guys later on this afternoon on stream.